So South Africa take on India in an ODI series. This is after a 2-1 series victory in the tests, and it's now time to turn your attention to the ODIs. The last time South Africa played a series against India, it was not so long. It was 2 years, 3 years ago, and yeah, it was after test victory. Yeah, India smashed South Africa in the ODIs completely. It was complete domination. I'll never forget that ODI series. We obviously lost our captain, and Aiden Markram had to come in as a young captain and obviously lead the side. And they got battered. I think it was 32 wickets between the two spinners. They completely destroyed South Africa in our own turf. And it wasn't something that I would like to remember. So I'm hoping that this time around, with a fresh new squad, that things are going to be going to go differently. So let me just start off by saying what's going to be happening. So we've got the series here in front of us. We've got the first ODI on Wednesday. That will be in Paul. Then on Friday, the 21st of January, it's going to be 39 degrees in Paul. Oh, it's going to be scorching hot. And they are playing their second ODI. And then they're playing the final one on a Sunday at Newlands. So going to be an interesting one. Going to be very, very interesting. We're going to be discussing various things with regards to the ODIs, what we expect, how things are going to go, etc. And we're also going to discuss, maybe we're going to touch on a little bit of what approach we want South Africa to see. Seeing that this is not got nothing to do with the ODI points that is needed, we could maybe see possibly some new faces in the ODI squad, in the ODI lineup, maybe. Or maybe we want to go with some momentum and obviously see the main guys get selected and stuck with and backed. It's very interesting to talk about this because I'm currently sitting here not knowing what I want to do, whether I want to go with a younger, fresher side or whether I want to go with a more settled ODI side that we know is our best side. So it's something that I'm really struggling to digest and trying to think about. It was a hectic day. There was a lot of articles that we put out and a lot of comments that were coming out about our articles and about our show last night. It's been quite a hectic a day today. Waking up, I recently wrote a column as well on whether there needs to be a change in the scouting system with regards to Test cricket in South Africa and how they can go about doing that. But all that we're going to talk about today is probably the ODIs, and it's the preview for the ODIs. So let's get straight into today's content. Let's have a discussion about this, and let's see what you guys come up with. I would like to see your comments, see what you have to say, because that's probably going to skew my mindset going into this particular match, or going into this particular series, of what sort of lineups you want to see, etc., and who you want to see in your starting 11. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to Clicker Fanatics magazine. The link is in the description, of course, for the magazine, but you can subscribe to this channel as well. Click the notification bell, but also subscribe to Clicker Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue 100% free, straight into your inbox every single month. Link is in the description, as I've already said. But smash the like button to share and subscribe, and share this with all your friends and family. Let's get the subscriber base going. So we'll chat to you on the other side, guys. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is my co-host, Aditya, and today we're going to be discussing the ODI series between India and South Africa. What approach are we going to go with? What strategy is going to come from India? What strategy is going to come from South Africa? Who's in the squad? Who's going to be selected? All of those things. And we want to hear what you have to say as the fan base as well. See what you guys have to say about this particular lineup, because I think that's going to be the main discussion, is who's going to be in that starting 11, particularly when it comes to the batters. I think that there's a lot of chat about specific positions, which we'll obviously get into. But before we get going, let me put up the squad for the guys that haven't seen it quite yet. So this is the ODI side to take on India. We've got Yanaman Malan, Temba Bavuma as captain, Aiden Markram, Zubair Hamza, Rassie van der Dussen, Quinton de Kock, Kyle Verreyn, David Muller. Then we've got Wayne Parnell, Marco Janssen, Sisanda Magala, Antile Pechlikwayo and Dwayne Pretorius. Spinners are the Keshav Maharaj and Tabarei Shamsi. And then we've got our seamers in Kagiso Rabada and Lungi in Gidi. So there's going to be a lot of chats about this. I think mainly about the batting lineup. I think let's start with the approach first and foremost. I think the main thing that we need to discuss, maybe Aditya, before we get into India and chat about India, which you can give us a little bit more insight on and more in depth about the opposition, is what South Africa's approach is going to be in this series. Is this a series where we want to give maybe one or two guys an opportunity to see who can put up their hand for that 2023 World Cup squad? Or does Boucher already know who his 11 is for the 2023 World Cup, and he just wants to give these and then wants to select them and get them into some sort of momentum leading up? I mean, either way, I feel that there's still space for growth, etc. Um, and there's a lot of things that we can discuss about it. But let's just first and foremost talk about one particular selection, and I think that's the opening spot. So I'm going to put up the squad again, and I think with regards to the opening spot, we've seen that Temba's wanted to, in white ball cricket, open the batting or bat at number 3. Now, T20 cricket, of course, we've seen him open and we've seen him bat at 3 too, and even further down the order as well when it comes to certain match situations. But when it comes to the opening position, I mean, me personally, I think Yanaman Malan is the guy that needs to open with Quinton de Kock. Personally, that's what I think. If Aiden's going to bat anywhere, it needs to be in the middle order, I feel. If he even gets into the side, because, I mean, Zubair Hamza has been recently on form. Carl Verheyen has been recently on form. David Miller needs to be selected and definitely into the World Cup side. And Rassie van der Dussen has been consistent. We've got Quinton de Kock back into the setup. So obviously there's a different makeup. But if you look at this particular squad and you look at the batters, there's 8 batters over here, so 1 or 2 needs to miss out. Now, I don't think we can go into an ODI the same like we want to go into a test match with 7 batters and 4 bowlers. I don't think that's the case for ODI. Of course, you can't do something like that unless you're going to play with extra all-rounders, etc. That's not the case in ODI. You can't do that, so we have to obviously scrap that idea 100% completely. Let's get into this discussion. Yanaman Manan starts for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yes, definitely. He's been remarkably consistent for South Africa, and he certainly has to be a first choice opener.
I mean, we obviously have Quinny. You've got Aiden over there that people are talking about as well. Does Aiden miss out of this ODI squad based on the rest of the guys and their form that they've been in recently, Werner? Or do you think that it's Aiden, Zubair, or Aiden, Kyle, Zubair? Or do you feel Kyle is up the order with regards to that? In the pecking order?
I would say Markram misses out, but the balance of the side is going to be a bit of a tricky one. Because if you don't play Markram, who hasn't had a really great ODI start, then that will mean you'll have to get 10 overs out of one of your all-rounders probably, and 10 overs out of Pretorius, or 10 overs out of Andile, or 10 overs out of, we have a few all-rounders. I don't know if you're going to get that, and if you're going to get that, if that's the best route to go either. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think Markram necessarily warrants a spot in the ODI side right now, but if they decide we need to have 6 strong batters and one of them needs to be able to bowl a bit, then he's probably the only option within the squad right now.
I mean, I only see it as the 6th bowler option when it comes to Markram. That's the only way he gets into the side right now, because, I mean, Carl Verheyen has batted excellently against Australia. Obviously, against the Netherlands, him and Zubair Hamza put on a good performance. The only person that really question marks over is Markram in that particular batting selection. But when it comes to the all-rounders, when we put that on the screen quickly and discuss that, because I think that's going to be the major talking point of this side, is which all-rounders are they going to pick? Now, we've got Wayne Parnell in the mix. We've got Marco Jansen, who hasn't played yet, Sasanda Magala, and Dile Pekakwa and Dwayne Pretorius. Now, it's very hard for us as a fan base to really look at this side and say, okay, this is gonna be the best 11, because we haven't necessarily seen what Boucher has thought about it and seen him with this particular squad against a good opposition when everybody is available, and currently everybody is. So we're gonna have to see what 11 he picks from this particular squad. But for me, the pecking order has to be Dwayne and Dile when it comes to this. But if you really want to go with something different, Marco Jansen could be an option. I think the left arm, we saw what he did in the test arena. I know it's a different format completely, but he is pretty dangerous. And I'm sure that he will be able to bring that over into the ODI setup as well. But surely, which all-rounder in your eyes, guys, do you feel gets into the side? Maybe that 7-8 position, I think, has to go to all-rounders.
You can go, Adisha.
Sorry.
I'm testing something new, guys. I'm testing something new. I don't want to say who must speak. I want to see if you guys will just pick you. And
all I could see was the team, so I didn't even know who was going to speak.
Yeah.
I think one of South Africa's biggest challenges there will be trying to balance the all-rounder spot with the spinners, because from what I've heard you guys talk about Paul, it seems to be like it's going to be hot and the pitch is fairly slow and it is conducive to spin. Correct me if I'm wrong. And obviously Tabrez Shamsi has to be in that 11. There's no doubt about that. But the question is whether Keshav is going to fit into that 11, because on the one hand, Keshav is the vice captain of the team, I'm assuming, given that he led in Sri Lanka. And he led impressively in Sri Lanka. But on the other hand, if you have KG, Lungi, Shamsi, and Keshav as your four bowlers and then your all-rounders, then you have a fairly long tail. And I don't know if that balance works for South Africa. So I guess there's quite a lot of soul searching to do for the team.
I just want to give you guys a quick update on what's going to be happening when it comes with regards to Paul. So Wednesday, it's going to be 33 degrees in Paul, right? So it's pretty hot, and it's going to bake. But I'm more concerned about Friday, because Friday is going to be 39. And that's something that I'm a little bit worried about, because that pitch is going to be flat, dry and flat and hard, and it's going to be extremely difficult to bowl on this pitch and to chase on the pitch as well. Maybe given that the amount of slow balls that South Africa is probably going to use, I would like to see how India uses the slower deliveries, and now they obviously stifle South Africa. I mean, that's going to be good practice for South Africa from that perspective, is because in white ball cricket, you need to master playing slower deliveries. Picking out the slower deliveries is going to be very, very, very important. But we do know it's going to be blooming hot, and in Cape Town as well on Sunday, it's also going to be very hot, 33 degrees. So we're going to get clear. There's no cloud cover. It's just going to be sun baking on the pitch, so the entire day. So it's going to be very, very tricky. An interesting match to actually watch and see how these batters bat. Hopefully there's not too many cracks and it doesn't deviate too much. I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case, that we're going to have a lot of cracks that India can exploit, because India is very good at doing that. But Werner, let me get your thoughts on a team, and then I want to buy to cut India and maybe rebuttal you. How would you line up against India in the first opening ODI?
Okay, so you want me to give my 11?
I would love you to give me your 11.
All right. It's 100% open with Malan and Quinny. Then I'd have Temba at 3, Rossi at 4, Miller at 5. Then the tricky ones comes after that. So I'll have Verena at 6, and then I'll play 2 all-rounders. I think I probably won't go with Lungi and KG both in to rest after the Test series and ahead of the series against New Zealand. So I'd probably go 7 Pretorius, 8 Andile, and then that could probably be swapped later in the series. Maybe we'll give Janssen a go. And then at 9 Kesh, 10 Rabada, or 9 Rabada, 10 Keshav, 11 Shamsi. It's a bit light on the bowling, maybe, if you look at the dev bowling. But Pretorius did actually surprised me in the T20 World Cup and did a pretty good job at the death. So he seems to be a fairly good option, especially on slower decks, which will be the case at Burland Park and at Newlands. So yeah, that's probably the 11 I would go with. But I don't think they will. They'll probably play the 1. But then they've picked so many all-rounders, so it's literally only KG and Ngidi who's out-and-out pace bowlers. So maybe they will play both throughout, but I'd probably give one a go and then rest him and give the other guy a game and then try and play 2 all-rounders just to get a bit better balance.
Abai, what's your thoughts on that 11?
You first of all, great to be back. And Khalid, even though you said that I have a chance to give a rebuttal, honestly, Werner and I are mostly on the same page, to be honest. I think when it comes to the fast bowlers, you got to manage their workload well, especially Rabada and Ngidi, because they frequently play multiple formats for South Africa. When it comes to the playing 11, I'm mostly on the same page. I feel like with a lot of all-round options present, it's kind of like England in the 2019 World Cup. I know that's a stretch because England were super strong, and we're still trying to figure out our best combo at this point in time. I guess from a Proteas perspective, I'd probably say batting down to number 8 or number 9 would be a good thing, because in more recent times, it's mostly been the bowlers winning us games, and I think I want that to change, because you can't be over reliant on one group of players to constantly deliver consistent performances. So I'm looking forward to a close fought series. Hopefully, a couple of maybe a high scoring contest, maybe a low scoring contest. I want there to be kind of evenness between bat and ball. That's my outlook for this series.
Yeah, Aditya, when you listen to a lineup like that and looking at the talent that South Africa has available to them, what is your thoughts on the 11 that Werner gave, and would you make any changes to it?
I agree with Werner's level 100%. My question would be that, do you want Verena at 6, or would you want to play Markram in that team? I think that's the question, because he offers you that extra bowling option, and I think if there's one thing that we can say about Temba, is that he is an excellent captain of spin bowlers. He knows how to use spin as well. So my gut tells me that Markram will slot into that lineup. Where, I don't know, but I think he will, because he provides that extra bowling option. So I think that's the only one that I think is a bit of a question mark. But otherwise, I agree completely with Werner's level. Fantastic.
I think if Aiden's going to play, he's either going to have to open or bat at number 4. And considering how well Yanuman Malan has done in the ODIs he's played for the Proteas, I think Aiden Markram's best chance is going to be number 4.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lineup. I'm trying to find a place where he slots in. I mean, I can't see him batting at 6. So, and
the thing
you
is,
can't drop Rassi. He's way too consistent, and I think
exactly.
Miller's is the trusted finisher. So if Markram's going to play, if we look at Werner's 11, he would most likely have to come in for Kyle Verreynne, even though I know that Kyle Verreynne is very talented and has lots of potential.
And I could see Boucher doing that, eh? I really could see Boucher dropping Kyle. And that's a concern for me because I feel that Kyle has done well in ODIs and he doesn't deserve to be dropped in the ODI team right now.
Yeah, what did he make against Netherlands? Something like 97 or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I think the
he's
only
incredibly
place you
incredible
could
form.
get Markram in is for Verreynne, but I don't think it would be fair. But then your balance is a bit tough because then that means you're going to have to rely on 10 overs for Andile. I don't know the last time he bowled 10 overs in an ODI. So it's a tough one. Or you can maybe play Janssen ahead of Andile. But yeah, we all know we're behind in numbers in tests. So somewhere along the line, we let me put it this way: we can't get any further behind at this stage. It's probably not a good idea. So it needs to be taken in consideration as well, because otherwise we go to the T20 World Cup. We're like, nope, we got to get the numbers right, and then everybody's going to have a fit.
Another point I wanted to add was when you have a bunch of young players in the squad, you sooner or later you're going to have to find a way to fit them into the 11. You can't wait for so and so to get injured and say, okay, here's a chance. I know the term transition phase has been thrown around way too often, but these young guys like Marco Jansen, Kyle Verreynne, these are excellent players who have lots of world class potential, and sooner or later you're going to have to figure out where they fit in and how you can maximize their game time.
And somebody made a good point in the comment section. If, let's say, for instance, Miller gets injured just before the World Cup, who's going to be the guy that fulfills his role? Because in the squad, we don't have that type of batsman that can play that type of destructive role or finishing role that he does. I mean, we thought in the past maybe Klaasen could do that, but he's not even in the squad right now. I mean, he had a great 4-day game against the Dragons, but that doesn't say anything for the ODI lineup right now. So that's also something to think about. We probably need somebody similar that do a similar role to Miller, at least in the squad, and be given a game or two throughout the series. Because otherwise, if Miller does get injured right before a World Cup, we're gonna have some problems.
Yeah. I mean, looking at Kyle Verreynne's stats, I mean, he averages 40 already in ODI cricket. So, like, it's very difficult for me to look at them dropping him. I don't think he deserves it at all. But, I mean, if they're looking for an extra bowling option, I can see them dropping Kyle, and that's gonna really rub me the wrong way in that case, because I don't like. Look, I'm a fan of both, and I think both of them are good. But I think that we need to start rewarding guys that are doing well at international level. So, like, yes, we need to give people opportunities if they perform at domestic level. But if they get an opportunity and they perform at international level, there shouldn't be a reason to drop them just for no apparent reason. So I do think that your squad is your 11 is probably the best 11. The only question mark I probably maybe have is maybe the Maharaj, but that obviously depends on the conditions, which you already explained. So having two spinners in Paul is something that has been tested and used and trialed in T20 cricket a lot with the Paul Rocks. That was their own ground. And both Bjorn Fortuin and Tabrei Shamsi bowled in the final, for example, and in other games as well. So they've trusted two spinners on that particular deck, and it can get pretty conducive. Not conducive for spin necessarily, but for holding an end, definitely. For making sure that nobody scores on one side, and to stifle an opposition batting his lineup in Paul in the heat, because it's 10 o'clock start. They're going to be boiling there. Hopefully South Africa bat first.
Do you want to bat first, though? Because by the time you come on field, that's midday. That's even going to be worse.
Yeah, either or. Yeah, either or. I mean, at Paul, it doesn't really matter to me. I think it's about the conditions are not going to play a.
Yeah, if the pitch actually gets slower through the 50 overs, then yes bat first.
Yes,
but if it's not going to get slower,
which I think it's going to do. I think it's going to get slower because it's going to get baked. So, like, but I don't think it's going to get that slow, that like the transition from slow from like fast to slow is not going to be such a massive movement. It's not like you're getting movement in the morning because of the overcast conditions and the ball's moving around on the pitch and it's moving off the deck, and then all of a sudden as it bakes throughout the day you're going to get maybe a slower week. This is just going to go slow to slower, I feel. This is going to, it's going to be under the heat, and Paul is hot, and I'm just thinking about it right now. I'm like, sitting at Paul is going to be hectic. I don't think I'll be going to Paul, because for me to do my show from Paul is going to be very tricky, because Wi-Fi places to, they don't have a very big media center as well for place for me to sit really. So
No
conditions,
service?
I don't think. Sorry.
Is data reception any good in Parl?
But data with StreamYard is not necessarily that great. Like for me to
You know,
host a
I'm
show.
on data right now. I'm on data on my phone right now.
Yeah, to call in, it's fine. to call in on a show, it's fine. But to host the show, it's a little bit, because I have
That's
to
true.
obviously host it and keep everything ticking over, etc. So I need to make sure that I've got a strong connection, because if I don't, then you guys can't join in either. So it's going to be a whole mission. And for me to, it's not like it's the Newlands that I can just drive around the corner and come home. Do you understand what I mean? Like Paul is very far for me. It's like 45 minutes away from me. So it's not like I can come home. Like I have to leave before the game ends. It's going to be a whole mission. So I'd rather discover the Paul games, I think, from home. Maybe go to the Newlands game. But I'm liking your lineup. Let's see what some of the guys say. Oh, Aditya, have a go. What you want to say?
I think our dear friend, the cricket connoisseur, would like to see John Trevor Smuts featured in the lineup. But given that he is
he's
not
trying very hard.
And you
Given that
obviously
he's-
gave him airtime. I was ignoring him on purpose.
You know, somebody that we could try going forward at some stage, I hope he's going to become the player we think, is Bryce Parsons. I'd love to be that guy who develops into a guy who can bat in our top 5 and also give us 6-7 overs of left arm spin.
Aditya,
But
you wanted to say something before you leave?
Abhay wanted to say something.
Oh yeah. So as much as I'm an advocate for the for younger players to get more game time, at the same time I think Mark Boucher's approach to back all the experienced players, it kind of reminds me of how CSK chose not to tinker with their team too much. I think Aditya could probably shed some light on this, but I feel like against such a strong team like India, backing all your experienced players could very much come in handy. So I'm going to leave with that. Looking forward to listening to the rest of the show, and have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, Abhay. Aditya, can we talk a little bit about India and how South Africa combats India? Because I mean, I think we had a conversation. I don't think we did have a conversation earlier on, and you said something about, if I remember correctly, that 3 months without ODI cricket for India. So, so what's your thoughts on India? How would you line up for India?
Yeah, so India hasn't played ODI cricket in 6 months, I think.
6 months. Oh wow.
Yeah, so they're going to begin afresh with new team management, new captain, well, stand-in captain, I suppose, and a new structure for the team, because I think our last real significant ODI series, was with Australia last year. When in 2 games consecutively, the team was almost stuck with a 5-bowler strategy and conceded 370, 380 runs in 2 consecutive games. So I think the team will look to change that. And honestly, the 18 players selected for the series, and there are very few that I can see will be guaranteed starters. So obviously, KL Rahul is captain, so he's going to be starting. Virat Kohli is going to be playing at 3. Well, Jasprit Bumrah is going to be there. Rishabh Pant is going to be there. So I can see that. But, I think there will be changes in the way that India structures its 11. And it'll be interesting to see what that is.
Werner, can you just give your thoughts on India? Because the last time India were here, they destroyed us. Spin was particularly, we were awful. but they didn't play at Paul, so it's something that's different. We're playing it different, apart from Newland. So, what's your thoughts on India? I'm trying to find the squad.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at the squad, but whatever it is, it'll always be strong. Even if you don't have Rohit Sharma there, it'll still be a strong squad. They have most of the test players are staying behind, so they'll definitely have a strong squad. I'm guessing Bumrah will play and Kohli will play, so it'll be a strong squad nonetheless, and it's going to be very tough because they've always been very good in ODIs. We are just starting to get back to a better position in ODIs, so but we still lost the game against Ireland. So I'm not gonna predict like a 3-0 win. I'm not that guy, but I think it should be a close game. I think both sides are pretty strong, and it should be a good contest. Definitely in the batting, especially. I think the bowlers are going to have it tough in this series. Both at Boland Park and Newlands, it's not going to have in ODIs have a lot of assistance for the bowlers. So maybe the spinners will play a part if the deck is slow and does start to spin a bit. Then maybe if it turns out to just be slow and not spin, then maybe not. Then maybe your medium paces like Pretorius and Andile might come into the game, because on slow decks you can give yourself a short cover and you give yourself a short mid wicket, and maybe if it stops a bit in the wicket you can get some close-in catches. So lots of tactics go into different pitches and stuff, but I think the two teams are pretty evenly matched.
So yeah, I'm still trying to put the squad together over here quickly so I can download and upload it and show you guys over here so that people can have a look. I had it before and I had it uploaded, but I don't know, for some reason it just bloody disappeared. I'm gonna give Aditya the reins to read it out once I've downloaded it. Just give me a couple of seconds to do so. But yeah, I, I think that India's gonna want to win this the series. Uh, Like, I think both teams are going to obviously want to, but I mean India specifically after the Test series and the way it went, I think that they'll have more desire to want to beat South Africa at home again. Uh, and also, it will show how far they've come since the last time they were here. I think they want to show that they've improved, that they're not obviously sitting back against not sitting back, but taking a step back after, I mean, dominating South Africa. And it was, you could say, a better South African squad then. Um, than now, some people might say. But I'll put up the squad in front of you. Aditya, if you want to just read it. Yeah.
Just like to say something just before Aditya goes, because I remember two guys that are going to, that are in the squad and will probably get an opportunity. I'm definitely looking forward to watching Ruturaj Gaikwad and Venkatesh Iyer play. So those are two young guys. Obviously, we've seen them in the IPL do very well. Gaikwad in particular has done well in the IPL and now domestically. So he's definitely one I'm looking out for. And Iyer as well, very attacking young guy. He can also bowl quite well as well. So those are two very good additions to a young side.
Mm-hmm. So Aditya, I've got the squad here for you. Obviously, there are two cases, but you can just read through the names for us and let us know who's the stand-up players for you.
Yeah, we've got KL Rahul as captain, Jasprit Bumrah as vice captain, Shikhar Dhawan, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Shreyas Iyer, Venkatesh Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Ishan Kishan, Yuzvendra Chahal, R. Ashwin, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Deepak Chahar, Prasidh Krishna, Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Siraj, Jayant Yadav, and Navdeep Saini.
Yeah, and you said also as well as Navdeep Saini and Washington Sundar have recently contracted COVID.
No, Washington Sundar recently contracted COVID and was left out of the side. and Navdeep Saini has been
and Navdeep Saini's
slotted
been
in,
replaced.
as is Jayant Yadav. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. Okay, so I'm mainly worried about the spin. That's what I'm worried about. But I think that South Africa's squad, particularly, I'm worried about the spin against Yanaman. That's what I'm worried about, is because if he's going to get in trouble early on, there's going to be a lot of people probably saying, "Oh no, but this is Yanaman. Yanaman needs to be dropped." Or I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen, please, because let's give the guy some extended runs. I'm not very happy with the way he has played spin in the past. I mean, even in the recent game that he played, he didn't look necessarily comfortable. Yes, he found a way to grit it through and get the ball and find bat on ball, etc. But it didn't look clean to me. But whatever works. Do whatever you need to do to get the job done at the end of the day. But your spinners, Aditya. I mean, the last time Kudal, Yadav, and Chahal destroyed South Africa, 32 wickets between the two. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. And I still remember the batting coach at the time saying in his press conference that South Africa doesn't have a problem against spin. He actually answered my question. I asked him the question. I said, what is South Africa's problem against spin? How are you guys going to combat it? And he told me, well, we don't have problem against spin. So I was like, well, that's bull, because I'm thinking this in my head. Of course, I was still a young journal. I wasn't cocky enough or not cocky enough, but I wasn't confident enough is the word I'm looking for, to be able to say, but you're talking nonsense to me.
Interrupt in mid-sentence.
What? Exactly. So his argument was that not a lot of the batters at the time have seen them bowl or face them, and it's very difficult to replicate their actions or their trajectories that they bowl from within the nets, which I thought was a real diplomatic answer to something that is protecting his batters. But since then, there has been an improvement. Quinny the Cock, I'm very interested to see what Quinny the Cock is going to show up here. Which one is going to show up here? Is he going to be? Is the pressure going to be off him? I don't know. Is he going to play with more freedom? I don't know. What's his attitude going to be like? Is he going to shave and cut his hair, or what's going to be the case? But give me some insight into your spinners, Aditya, because I'm a bit worried, particularly about the spin attack.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Yuzvendra Chahal will definitely play, and to complement him, I do think that depending on the surface, the conditions, and also on the day, our Ashwin might get a look in as well. Because if ball is going to be low with hot conditions, and there is an opportunity for Indian spinners to exploit conditions, then I do think that they will play two spinners. So yes, I think it will be Chahal and Ashwin were the front runners. But Jayant Yadav is a solid spinner as well. And for him to be part of the Test squad as well as the ODI squad is testament to the progress he's made over time. He also plays for the Mumbai Indians in the IPL, and he's a well-rated spinner. So I think we've got a solid spin arsenal, but in the 11, I think it would be Chahal and Ashwin who would make the cut.
Because I mean, I think that India will be. I don't think India will be as surprised of the conditions. It's not like we're playing. Who can I say? Maybe Australia, maybe in Paul. It's not like they are, because I mean, India will be able to combat whatever we throw at them, I feel, when it comes to the spin bowling department. So Shamsi, I don't think will be. Maybe, I don't know, but Shams is a world-class bowler, so you can't really say that he won't be as effective. But I don't think Keshav Maharaj will be as effective against India as the Braves will, because I think they'll be able to combat it, whatever we throw at them on this particular pitch. Because I mean, the heat and stuff. So like India is not susceptible to heat in India, so they also it's like that's not going to matter. So it's not going to be a factor. Yeah. So South Africa just have to come here with an A game and play the best that they can.
I think if there's a challenge for South Africa, and it has been one that has persisted over a period of time, is the tempo that they play at, given the conditions. I think against the Netherlands recently, we said that despite a solid batting performance and some of the younger players showing up, they could have scored 30, like 320 odd, and they didn't. I think they scored 280 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's definitely going to be a concern for South Africa, and it's something that they probably need to figure out. And I'd say the same for India as well, because this is a significantly new squad compared to what we had last time, and the nature of ODI cricket since then has changed quite a bit. So India will also be looking to explore with a lot of new personnel. So I think, to be honest, both teams are starting at almost similar positions, and they're trying to figure themselves out. In Aaron's words, they're trying to sort out their identities as ODI teams.
Fern?
Yeah, I agree with Aditya. The tempo is going to be crucial, especially the moment the spinners come on. It won't help. We start off with a bang in the first 10 overs, and then the moment under 19s did the other day, the moment the spinners of the India under 90s came on, they got totally stuck. They weren't able to rotate the strike. But luckily, I do believe our senior team has.
Your sound, bro, just disappeared.
Back.
There's a back.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, so
No problem.
our senior team luckily has learned to play spin a lot better, but I do feel they need a few more boundary options. Just singles aren't enough these days, so you need to have some boundary options against the spinners as well. I actually, come to think of it, I remember that first game we played against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, we were chasing 300 odd, and we all thought that 300 is way too much on that slow deck, it's spinning too much, and we did end up losing that game, but it was only by like 14 runs, and then in that game it was Milan and Markram who gave us a great platform. Markram made like 96 of 90 balls or something along those lines, and that's the sort of tempo we will need from one of our batters going into this. And it's funny that we talk about Markram's probably not cemented his place in the ODI side, and he did have that one good innings in Sri Lanka, and it's funny because he give you that one innings and then you're like, okay, here we go, he's going to do it now, and this is going to be him, and then it goes off the boil, and they're like, no, we want that Aiden, not the other Aiden. So, but yeah, we need a guy to play that sort of speed, even on slow decks. We can't get stuck and decide, oh, no, this is Berlin Park, and we'll settle for 250. I don't think you can think of 250 is enough in this day and age, even on slow decks.
Yeah, so guys, I think that's enough what we have to say about today's preview. We're going to do a show tomorrow where you guys get an opportunity to pick the 11, an 11 that you guys want to see from the squad. As you guys know how the rules work, of course, you're going to pick a combined 11, everybody, so spread the word. And then if you want to see anybody out of the side, you super chat, and that's how you get the person out of the side. You know how to do it. It's a game we've been playing recently on the channel, but I'll explain all the rules again tomorrow for you guys. I want to see what you guys come up with. What is your selection for the first game in Paul, or just generally what you think our best ODI 11 is? I think that will be maybe a better game to play with you guys. But let's see tomorrow what you guys come up. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot, Aditya. Thanks a lot, Werner, for coming on the show, having a discussion with me about this particular series. I'm excited about the series. It's more cricket to watch, and don't forget to also watch the under 19s play tomorrow. We're going to see Baby AB maybe in action again. Good
you
to
think
see.
they'll show that one on TV? Because I know they said they aren't going to show all the games, and we're playing like Uganda or somebody. So I wonder Hopefully they
I wonder
do.
if it's going to be on TV. Oh, I hope they do, because I mean, it would be dumb for SuperSport not to have a contract to have the South African games on TV. I mean, what's the
Yeah.
point? So I hope they do get to see that game. I hope, hopefully. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell for all future videos, as well as subscribe to the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine. We're bringing out the next issue very, very soon. And the link is in the description. Every issue, including the latest issue, 100% free, straight in your inbox every single month. So go ahead and subscribe right away. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another squad selection daily show. So take care and enjoy the rest of your evening.